All right, guys, what's going on? Levi Trumbull reporting here, and we have a major update that we need to bring this audience as it relates to a story that this channel originally broke and exclusively broke. So you might remember that back in January, we brought you a story where Robin Shushko, do you guys remember Robin Shushko? We brought you a story about the fact that Robin Shushko, who is the head of Frederick Community College campus safety, or public safety as they like to identify as, you remember that Robin actually filed a peace order against Maryland activist Shaun Porter. Now, you will remember, if you have seen that last video, if you haven't, we'll link to it in the description, but you will remember there was some long-standing bad blood. This activist, Maryland activist Shaun Porter, filed a peace order against her. He filed a set of criminal charges against her. None of that stuff went anywhere, but she retaliated by filing a peace order against Shaun Porter. Now, that happened in I believe, yes, it was January 22nd, 2024. She filed that peace order against him, and Mr. Porter was actually on vacation at that point with someone. I don't remember all the details of that particularly, but he was on vacation, and while he was on vacation doing his thing, he was hit with this peace order. And we brought you that application when we brought you the original story, and we broke down that application for a peace order. You will remember that from the video. Well, we told you at that time it was very early in the stages and that we couldn't tell you what was to happen next, but at this point we have a final disposition in that matter, and we actually had it very quick. I could have brought you this final disposition a lot sooner, but I wanted to wait to make sure that nothing else would happen before I brought you today's video. Well, what ended up happening is, with that situation, is on January 22nd, you remember, she filed that application for a peace order. When you file a peace order, an application in the state of Maryland, the first thing you have to do is go to what is called a temporary peace order hearing. That is where a judge decides if there is grounds to issue a final order, and they have to basically show that something happened, something noteworthy happened, something probable happened. There's some sort of probable cause that this person did something harmful to you. That is why they have a temporary hearing. Well, the breaking news is that what should have been a temporary hearing for a peace order on January 22nd, 2024 actually turned out to be a no-show by Robin Shushko. That's right, Robin Shushko, who filed this lengthy application for a peace order, wound up not showing up to court for that temporary hearing. Now, that is for an inexplicable reason. I cannot tell you why she did not appear, but I do want to read you the notes from the court as it relates to the day in question. So again, 1/22/2024, this is for a temporary peace order hearing. That is the type. The hearing was before Judge Eric W. Schaffer. The hearing time was at 8:45 a.m., and the result was that the plaintiff/petitioner failed to appear, and with that, the temporary peace order, the application for a peace order, was dismissed on the same day, January 22nd, 2024. Now, why am I bringing you this video about a month later? Well, good question. Glad you asked, handsome stranger. The reason I'm bringing you this video so much later is that I thought that perhaps maybe Robin Shushko was just unfamiliar with the civil procedure as it relates to peace orders here in the state of Maryland. I thought, well, maybe she'll refile it, maybe she just missed it, because what struck me as odd about this whole situation was that she filed, and again, we brought you that lengthy application, she filed that lengthy application and on the same day failed to appear, and I thought that was odd. Most people don't fail to appear at that, and they would have advised her, the district court clerk would have advised her that she needed to be present in court before a judge so that the merits of her application could go before a judge for a ruling. They would have advised her of that. They would have made that very clear to her. So for some inexplicable reason, Robin Shushko, this head of security, public safety at Frederick Community College, for an inexplicable reason, for whatever reason, she just decided not to appear. So again, we can't tell you why she didn't, but she didn't. And with that, the case was dismissed. Obviously, if it's dismissed, nothing was granted. There was no appearance in court by Mr. Porter or anything like that. The application for this situation was as far as this case ever went. And with that, again, filed and closed the same exact date. Filed on the 22nd of January and closed on the 22nd of January. And that is all I have to tell you. Now, with that, there's actually going to be a part 2 to this video, so stick around because you guys are going to like this. So this is actually not a first with Mr. Porter. This actually reminded me, this incident right here, this whole situation, reminded me of back when in 2021, County Executive at the time, we had County Executive Jan Gardner, and we're going to put her up on screen. You are now taking a look at County Executive Jan Gardner for Frederick County, Maryland. Back in 2021, she also, and again, she runs the whole entirety of Frederick County, Maryland. She is the head honcho. Before it was Fitzwater, it was Jan Gardner. But County Executive Jan Gardner actually filed an application for a peace order as well against Maryland activist Shaun Porter. And like Robin Shushko, at that time, County Executive Jan Gardner filed an application for a peace order against Shaun Porter. Now, at least with County Executive Jan Gardner, she actually went to her interim temporary peace order hearing, and at that temporary peace order hearing, she actually was granted a final hearing, but Jan Gardner at that time never actually followed through with that peace order and subsequently withdrew it again in 2021 and never actually moved that case forward. What was interesting about the Jan Gardner situation was, like Robin Shushko, it dealt with a protest. Back in 2021, County Executive Jan Gardner filed this peace order claiming that Shaun Porter was trying to stage a protest/demonstration outside of her house, and that Mr. Porter had actually sent emails to different staff members within Frederick County seeking information about the boundaries as it relates to the public property from Jan Gardner's personal residence, and she felt that that was threatening. She felt that incoming communications from Mr. Porter were threatening, and she tried to put a peace order against him. Well, again, she went to the temporary hearing, and that was as far as she ever went. The temporary hearing was granted, which means that a final hearing gets set, but she ended up withdrawing that peace order, presumably because she thought that it was only going to make matters worse. Now, we actually have that court audio as it relates to that 2021 temporary hearing where County Executive Jan Gardner testified along with Frederick County Sheriff Charles A. Jenkins, and he actually, he testified at that hearing along with County Executive Gardner. Chuck Jenkins said that Mr. Porter was volatile and unstable and had the propensity for violence. And that was actually a big story at that time, 2021. And we're going to bring you that court audio here and now. We're just going to hit you with a little bit of a flashback. It's a very interesting situation, one that this audience might not be familiar with because it was so long ago. But we're going to hit you guys with a little bit of a flashback. So you guys are definitely going to watch this video, the remainder of this video, I should say, because we're going to, take a trip down memory lane, if you will, and this is a very interesting set of circumstances that you guys are going to hear. So we have transcribed that audio like we usually do, and with that, please enjoy Jan Gardner versus Shaun Porter in a 2021 peace order temporary hearing. Levi Trumbull reporting in Frederick. Enjoy.
Call the matter of Jan Gardner versus Shaun Porter. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Black.
I'm Black County Attorney. Ms. Gardner, could you state your name for the record, please?
Jan Gardner.
Good afternoon. Would you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Are you a witness, Chair?
Yes.
All right. Both of you raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly declare or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the statements made and responses given will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. I tell everyone to have a seat, but we don't have enough chairs, or maybe you can sit over there with social distance. All right, we're here on an application. Okay, we're here on an application for a temporary peace order. It's your burden to show reasonable grounds that a temporary order should be issued. Your witness, counsel.
Thank you. Ms. Gardner, would you state your name for the record again, please?
Jan Gardner,
And your current occupation?
I'm the county executive.
And did there come a time yesterday that you received an email from Shaun Porter?
Yes,
And I'll show you the document. Is that the email that you received?
yes.
We have this marked down.
Okay. Mark that as petitioners 1.
Ms. Gardner, can you summarize for the court the contents of that email?
The content of that email, with the exception of the vulgarities in that email, are that this person is planning to come to my house to protest with a particular sign page. And as a history of this actions.
And did you take that email as more and beyond a normal political protest?
Yes,
And as a result of your knowledge of Mr. Porter and that email, are you fearful for your well-being,
I
Mr.
am.
Porter? Did you come to find out that Mr. Porter had also contacted one of the governmental agencies in the county,
yes,
and he was seeking information about your residence?
yes.
And you did not receive the email. Can you summarize for the court what Mr. Porter was seeking?
He wanted to know the property boundaries and the public places around my property.
Yeah, we have an email from Department of Public Works outlining the fact that Mr. Porter was calling, looking for information regarding where Ms. Gardner lived. Has Mr. Porter's conduct and communications with you caused you emotional distress?
Yes.
Can you summarize that for the court, please?
Well, I saw that email before I went to sleep that night, so I'd say I lost a night of sleep, and we are planning to actually leave our home.
Due to Mr. Porter's actions?
Yes. Not feel comfortable staying in my own home.
And you're familiar with Mr. Porter from prior incidences, correct?
Yes.
You're familiar with Mr. Porter's behavior?
Yes.
And as a result of your other knowledge of Mr. Porter's behavior, are you fearful for your well-being
I am.
and for your husband?
Yes.
And if the court were to grant the order today, the interim order, was it that you would like the judge to order Mr. Porter to stay away from your home?
To stay away from my home and the immediate areas around my home and actually out of my neighborhood.
And why is that?
Because I don't feel like I'll have to be able to have normal movements within my own community.
And you live close to a school as well?
I live close to a school, I live close to a grocery store, I live close to a number of things.
And as a result of these communications and your knowledge of Mr. Porter, you are fearful, correct?
That is correct.
And you believe that these actions would continue in the future if the court didn't grant you this interim order? More than just Monday as threatened?
Yes, I'm not sure if that's even an accurate date.
Okay.
I would not say I have reliance on what's in that email.
No other questions for Ms. Gardner, Your Honor?
Any additional witnesses?
Yes. Sheriff Jenkins, we will call Sheriff Jenkins. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sheriff Charles Jenkins, Sheriff of Frederick County.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Jenkins, are you familiar with the email that Mr. Porter sent to you?
I am, yes. I received it. I did read the email.
And are you familiar with Mr. Porter?
Very much so. During the course of the past probably 5 or 6 years, I've had a number of occasions. I've been involved with him directly to try to resolve situations in Lake Linganore with neighbor disputes over vulgar signs.
And how would you characterize Mr. Porter?
I would characterize him as very volatile, very unreasonable, unstable, and I believe he may have a propensity for violence based on language, based on actions, and what I've experienced.
And you're familiar with Mr. Porter's the direct threat to Ms. Gardner, correct?
Yes, I did read the email,
Okay.
yes.
And do you believe if he were not prohibited from coming near her, that there could be instances of violence?
I believe the possibility is there, yes.
And, well, let me ask you that. No question, John.
Okay. Any additional witnesses?
Mayor.
All right. In this case, we're here on an application for a temporary peace order. The court is certainly mindful that peaceful protest is as American as apple pie in our society, but a lot of discussion as to when it ceases to become peaceful protest. In this case, the petitioner has the burden at the temporary stage of showing reasonable grounds that one of the statutory bases for issuing a peace order is granted. I do find the petitioner has met her burden with respect, coupled with the sheriff's testimony that this person, in his opinion, has propensity for violence, as well as the email is profane, but I think it goes more than mere profanity in expressing their displeasure. I'm not going to paraphrase it, but that last sentence was personal, and I would put a reasonable person in fear of imminent serious bodily harm. Therefore, I am going to grant the temporary peace order. Do we have a time for a final, Madam Clerk? Oh. Thank you very much. February 19th, 2021 at 10:30. Does that work, Counsel?
That's what I think, John.
Okay. This order is good until February 19th, 2021 at 10:30. And you'll get the paperwork with that in it. First of all, the respondent shall not commit any of the listed acts in the order, nor attempt to commit the acts, nor get a third party to commit those acts which he himself should not done. You're asking for no contact, is that correct?
That's correct.
The respondent shall not contact, attempt to contact, in person, by telephone, in writing, any other means that includes social media, contact or harass the petitioner. The respondent shall not enter the residence of the petitioner, which the request is to be undisclosed for reasons of your safety. Do you have any legal authority that says I can bar someone from more than a residence, Counsel?
Your Honor, under the argument that the stalking is more than just in one location, if we had an instance where there was an act, a prohibited act that is in one particular location, an assault, let's say, I would say with stalking and that course of conduct, it would cover a larger area, and that would be a request for anywhere near where the petitioner lives.
Okay. I've run into this issue many times before. My reading of the statute gives me the authority to bar you from a residence and the curtilage around the residence. The no contact goes wherever you are, but I do not believe, and I'll certainly be willing to have a court of appeals tell me I'm wrong, I do not believe I have the legal authority to order someone from a geographic area that's not a residence, not a place of employment or anything like that. I will, however, you're asking that you be barred from your place of employment at 12 East Church Street?
Correct.
Is that correct? I will grant that motion. 12 East, Frederick, Maryland. All right. I know you're represented by able counsel, but I'm going to give you my standard speech I give to everybody in this case. This is a temporary peace order. If you feel like he's violating it, do not hesitate to call the police. Violating even a temporary order could be considered a criminal offense, and he could be arrested and charged with the crime. The courts take this very seriously. The police take it seriously, but ultimately when it boils down to it, it's just a piece of paper. So you need to take all legal means to protect yourself between now and then. All right, if you don't mind just waiting right outside, we'll be outside or downstairs? Madam Clerk.
In the audience, Your Honor. In the audience.
Just wait back in the audience? Okay, we're still, we have enough space to keep you here. So if you just wait in the audience, we'll get you a signed copy of that order. You're welcome. Good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
I'm going to call the matter of Ashley Riggs versus Brittany